I'm Sarah Hashim-Waris in the Los Angeles Times newsroom. Federal authorities announced Wednesday that they will enact new aviation safety rules for pilots flying U.S. passenger and cargo airlines, including increased training in the wake of Saturday's crash landing of Asiana Airlines Flight 214 at San Francisco International Airport. We learned today that the pilots told authorities that the jetliner's cruise control-esque auto throttle failed to keep the plane at the proper speed for landing. Joining me now with more is Times staff writer Kate Mather. Kate, you were just in San Francisco over the weekend covering this huge tragic story. Let's start with the updated patient numbers. What did you find out today?
Right, well, the two major hospitals that took the most patients, Stanford Hospital and San Francisco General Hospital, both put out new updates today. Stanford Hospital, which treated 55 patients, said that they have 4 left, including one person who's in critical condition. San Francisco General Hospital saw a total of 66 patients. 3 of those remain in critical condition this morning, 2 adults and 1 child. San Francisco General Hospital also noted that they had originally reported treating 62 people from the crash, but said that on Monday evening 4 children came in complaining of complications or problems from the crash. All of them were treated and released though, but they have treated now a total of 66 people that were involved in the crash.
And then yesterday, when the president of Asiana Airlines arrived from Seoul at San Francisco Airport, there was a massive mob scene.
Right.
You were there to witness it. You snapped a photo.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Right. Well, about 50, I would guess 50, but that might be a conservative estimate. Reporters had gathered at the International Arrivals Terminal, waiting for his arrival. They had kind of set up a makeshift microphone stand, even though he hadn't confirmed that he would formally speak to the press. When he walked out of the arrival area, he completely bypassed the microphone stand, and then the reporters just ran after him. There were at least 2 police officers there that were holding the reporters back. They were shoving cameras in his face. They were snapping photos, and eventually the airport personnel ushered him back into the arrival gate the way he came, because it was just such a frenzy by the time he got there.
And then there's also a media frenzy outside one of the hotels, I believe, where a lot of the survivors are staying.
Right. There's a lot of media attention on this story. Obviously, it's a big story. It involves people from many different countries. It involves, it was a high-profile incident. There has been a lot of media attention in trying to find the people who were on the plane and their families. It was reported yesterday that there was a group of families that had been staying in a hotel, and when officials were there, maybe meeting with the families, hotel staff actually put up umbrellas to keep the media cameras away and offer the families some privacy so that they could be there without dealing with the cameras and questions and that kind of stuff.
So in addition to sort of shielding these families from a lot of this media attention, there's also some groups who are providing aid, including the Chinese and South Korean consulates.
Right, that's correct. I think what a lot of people don't necessarily realize is these people now who survived the crash, they don't have clothes, they don't have glasses, many of them don't have their passports. So I was told by one of the tour groups who was supposed to greet a group of passengers on the plane that the tour group was offering assistance to the passengers as they kind of waited for the next logistical steps. The passengers are working with the consulates to determine when they can fly back to their respective countries. They're trying to figure out the next steps, dealing with anything you would deal with normally through international travel, customs, passports, that kind of thing. That all became complicated after Saturday. So right now, as the groups are trying to figure out what they're doing, there's a lot of local groups, the consulates. The San Francisco mayor has touched base with the consulates to make sure that they are getting the assistance they need to help the passengers as they figure out what to do next.
Thanks for the insights, Kate. You can be sure to keep up with coverage of the investigation into the crash landing of Asiana Flight 214 on LATimes.com and on Twitter @LATimes.
So much easier to do these things.
All right, well, thank you for the updates, Kate. You can be sure to keep up with our ongoing coverage on the San Francisco Asiana Airlines crash landing on LATimes.com and on Twitter @LATimes.